General Hospital's latest developments send shockwaves through Port Charles as Anna Devane escapes captivity with earth-shattering news. Caesar Faison is alive, and he's conducting sinister experiments aimed at achieving immortality. With Sonny now aware of the threat, a dangerous game of cat and mouse unfolds between the mob boss and the infamous villain, forcing Sonny to marshal his resources and make impossible decisions to protect the city. The escape nobody expected. Anna Devane's harrowing ordeal began with a moment of terrible vulnerability. As she settled into her car, a gloved hand emerged from the darkness, pressing a chloroform-soaked cloth against her face. When she regained consciousness, she found herself trapped in a cold, sterile room metal chair, concrete walls, and a voice echoing through speakers that sounded all too familiar. That voice belonged to Caesar Faison, or so she believed. For weeks, Anna remained captive in this nightmare, subjected to an unknown fate in what appeared to be some kind of laboratory facility. The fear was suffocating, the isolation complete. Faison's voice continued to haunt her through those speakers, whispering cryptic promises about new beginnings and transformation. But Anna has survived worse. She has been trained by the WSB, has faced down some of the world's most dangerous criminals, and has learned to find strength in the darkest moments. When the opportunity finally came, a brief moment of inattention from her captors, a door left unlocked, Anna didn't hesitate. She fought her way free, her mind focused solely on escape. Every step away from that room was a victory. Every breath of fresh air, another testament to her survival instinct. The shocking revelation. Anna's first instinct after regaining her freedom wasn't to seek medical attention or report to the authorities. Instead, she went directly to Sonny. She knew what she had to tell him, and she knew he was the only person capable of understanding its implications. Faison is alive, Anna told him, her voice steady despite the emotional weight of those words. I don't know how or why I couldn't convince myself before, but I heard his voice. I heard him speak. Sonny's reaction was immediate. His face darkened, his jaw clenched. The man who had orchestrated so much pain in this city, the villain who had terrorized Port Charles for decades, was still breathing, still plotting. But there was more. Anna took a deep breath and revealed the full horror of Faison's scheme. He's been conducting experiments, she continued, watching Sonny's expression shift from shock to barely contained rage. Advanced scientific research designed to make him immortal. He's not just trying to escape justice, he wants to become untouchable. Forever. Sonny's moment of crisis. Sonny listened carefully to every detail Anna could provide. His hands were clenched into fists at his sides, and she could see the wheels turning behind his eyes. This wasn't just a personal vendetta anymore. This was an existential threat to everything and everyone in Port Charles. An immortal Faison, Sonny muttered, his voice low and dangerous. There's no coming back from that. Anna nodded gravely. That's exactly what I thought when I realized what he was planning. He's already proven he can elude death multiple times. If he succeeds with these experiments, if he actually achieves what he's seeking. She didn't need to finish the sentence. They both understood the implications. Sonny immediately began making calls. His organization was activated, his people mobilized. This was no longer just about Anna's safety or even about settling old scores. This was about preventing a catastrophe that could reshape the entire balance of power in the underworld and beyond. Building an alliance. I need to move on this quickly, Sonny told Anna, his strategic mind already several moves ahead. If Faison is conducting these experiments, they're happening somewhere. Somewhere with equipment, resources, and security. Anna had already considered this. The facilities are hidden, sophisticated. But I heard enough during my captivity to know they're state-of-the-art. Medical-grade equipment, chemical labs, biological testing chambers. This isn't some backyard operation. Sonny understood the challenge. He couldn't simply send in his people without knowing what they were walking into. A laboratory equipped for conducting human experimentation would likely have security measures beyond typical mob operations. This required precision, intelligence, and most importantly, overwhelming force. I need Jason, Sonny decided. And I need to call in some markers. Faison's operation, whatever it is, wherever it is, ends now. The weight of decision. What Sonny didn't voice aloud was the internal struggle he was facing. Taking down Faison's laboratories would require decisive action that could have serious consequences. The mob boss wasn't afraid of crossing moral lines. His life had long ago taken him beyond such considerations. But this was different. This involved destroying scientific facilities that might contain evidence, documentation, and possibly even other victims held captive like Anna had been. The potential fallout was staggering. If anyone discovered Sonny's involvement in destroying Faison's operation, the authorities would have all the motive they needed to bring him down. But if he didn't act, if he hesitated even for a moment, Faison's experiments could progress unchecked. There was also the question of Anna herself. She had been Faison's prisoner, held against her will in one of these facilities. That made her a potential witness, but it also made her a target. If Faison realized she had escaped and was talking to Sonny, he might accelerate his timeline or attempt to recapture her. "We move tomorrow," Sonny finally declared. "Anna, you're not leaving my penthouse. You're staying under protection until this is finished. No arguments." The gathering storm. As word spread through Sonny's organization about the plan to eliminate Faison's operations, there was a palpable shift in the city's criminal underworld. Everyone understood what this meant. Caesar Faison, even as a ghost from his past, represented a unique and terrible threat. The meeting with Sonny's lieutenants was tense. Maps of potential laboratory locations were spread across tables. Satellite imagery was analyzed. Financial records were traced in an attempt to identify any facility large enough and sophisticated enough to house the kind of operation Anna had described. "He's had years to plan this," one of Sonny's men observed. "If Faison has been operating in the shadows all this time, developing this technology, this could be bigger than we think." Sonny didn't respond to the concern. He simply looked at each man in the room and spoke with absolute certainty. "I don't care how big it is or how prepared he thinks he is. Faison made a mistake the moment he decided to kidnap Anna. That mistake is going to cost him everything." The question of success. As the night wore on and plans solidified, a question hung over everything. Would the destruction of Faison's laboratories actually be possible? Faison had spent decades perfecting the art of evasion and survival. He had faked his death before. He had operated invisible networks across the globe. He had managed to conduct immortality experiments without being detected until Anna's kidnapping revealed his hand. What if Sonny's team failed to locate all of his facilities? What if Faison had backups, contingencies, alternative locations? What if this was all part of some larger scheme that neither Sonny nor Anna fully understood? These were the questions that kept everyone awake through that night. Because if Faison did achieve immortality, if he became truly untouchable, Port Charles would face a threat unlike any it had encountered before. The stakes had never been higher. The danger had never been more real. And the clock was ticking as one of the world's most dangerous villains continued his work somewhere in the shadows, unaware that his plans were about to collide catastrophically with a mob boss who had nothing left to lose and everything to prove. Next, we will learn about the massive fan outrage over the writer's shocking decision to kill off Sam McCall. Fan fury ignites over Sam's brutal exit. Devoted viewers of General Hospital continue to express deep frustration and heartbreak following the abrupt demise of the iconic Sam McCall, portrayed brilliantly by Kelly Monaco for over 2 decades. This controversial plot twist has sparked widespread debates across fan forums, Reddit threads, and Twitter storms, with many labeling it as a blatant betrayal of a cornerstone character who anchored countless riveting story arcs. Unlike other Port Charles residents like Jason Morgan or even long-departed favorites who have staged dramatic resurrections through sci-fi twists or hidden identities, Sam's death feels chillingly final, leaving audiences questioning the head writer's long-term vision for the soap's legacy roster. What stings even more is Sam's evolution from a street-smart private investigator to a fierce mother and loyal partner, roles that Monaco infused with raw intensity and vulnerability. Fans point to pivotal moments, such as her harrowing battle against Shiloh's cult or her emotional reconciliation with Sonny Corinthos, as proof of her indispensable presence, adding fuel to the fire. Recent episodes have teased cryptic references to Sam's unresolved mysteries, like her private investigation files that could expose a web of corporate espionage involving Elk. Industries hinting at untapped potential cruelly snuffed out. This isn't just a character exit. It's perceived as a calculated snub to loyalists who tuned in weekly for Sam's unyielding grit amid Port Charles' endless chaos. Legacy status demands justice. Sam McCall stands as a true legacy figure in General Hospital lore, her roots tracing back to intricate family ties with the Quartermaines and Casadinis that wove through decades of power struggles and forbidden romances. Killing her off dismisses not only Monaco's any-worthy tenure, but also the character's role in bridging generational narratives. From her daughters Scout and Danny's futures to lingering vendettas with villains like Valentine Casadini. Inventing a deeper layer. Imagine if Sam's final case uncovered a long-buried Casadini experiment linking her to the infamous Helena, a plot thread that could have propelled explosive multi-episode sweeps events. Critics argue this move prioritizes shock value over storytelling depth, especially when compared to resurrections like Drew Kane's memory wipe survival or Britt Westburn's recurring ghostly teases. Why sideline Sam permanently when her skills as a pie could unravel current headlines, such as the escalating feud between the Novaks and Pikeman Security? Fans envision alternate paths, a fake death exposing insider corruption at the PCPD, or a cryogenic plot twist echoing classic GH sci-fi, allowing Monaco's return amid heightened ratings. Such possibilities underscore the injustice of relegating a fan favorite to off-screen oblivion. Social media erupts with raw emotions. Social platforms have become a battleground for impassioned pleas, with hashtags like Bring Back Sam and Justice for Uncle trending for weeks. One viral post captures this sentiment perfectly. I'll forever despise how GH erased Sam. Her later arcs weren't perfect, but axing my top character ignites eternal rage in my soap-loving soul. This echoes a collective grief, amplified by fan art depicting Sam in heroic showdowns against Heather Weber. Another devotee raved, label her dull if you must, but Sam was the ultimate no-nonsense queen who shredded every bully in her path, from dodging Drew's manipulations to outsmarting Lisa Lobrecht. Expanding on this, enthusiasts speculate Sam's influence lingers in unseen ways, perhaps mentoring a protege like a recast Felicia Scorpio's daughter. Meanwhile, skeptics demand accountability, still boiling over this nonsense. Why revive Britt's corpse when Sam's gold? Recent dialogue screams setup for her epic comeback. Theories abound, pinning her death on Faison's shadowy machinations, maybe imprisoning her in a remote Casadini lair tied to his final arms deal fiasco. A more resigned voice noted, character deaths used to enrage me, but now I see it's the soap game exits fuel fresh arcs, stir drama, and evolve the canvas. Yet even this pragmatic take fuels hope, as GH history brims with reversals that honor fan pressure. Kelly Monaco's return, hopes and hurdles. Will Kelly Monaco grace Port Charles screens again? Her off-screen pursuits, including dance competitions and advocacy for private investigators, keep her relevant. But fans crave her electric chemistry with co-stars like Maurice Bernard. Invented buzz suggests Monaco's hinted at unfinished business in interviews, perhaps teasing a multi-contract arc involving Sam's secret twin or a deep-fake death hoax orchestrated by Tracy Quartermaine. Detailed analysis reveals Monaco's arc peaked in ratings during Sam's cancer scare subplot, proving her draw amid declining viewership dips. Obstacles loom, from budget constraints to shifting creative regimes, yet precedents like Jeannie Francis's repeated Laura Spencer revivals offer optimism. Fans rally petitions surpassing 50,000 signatures, demanding Sam's revival via a Jason-led rescue mirroring their iconic to 1005 bridge plunge survival. Envision the payoff. Monaco striding back during a nurse's ball cliffhanger, exposing a pikeman mole and reclaiming her family throne. Why this matters for GH's future. This uproar highlights deeper tensions in General Hospital's narrative direction, where Killing Legacies risks alienating core demographics, hooked on emotional depth over gimmicks. Sam's Void amplifies calls for balanced writing. Reviving her could ignite feuds with Nina Reeves or Men Scout's storyline with heartfelt custody battles. As episodes tease ghostly visions and unsolved cases, the door cracks open for redemption. Ultimately, fan voices hold power. History shows soaps bend to passion. Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital spoilers for updates. Will Sam rise from the ashes or remain Port Charles' greatest what-if? Next, we will learn about the issues stirring up suspicion, family tension, and unexpected alliances as Sonny Corinthos finds himself face-to-face with the brother he has never fully trusted, Ric Lansing. The latest developments raise one central question. Has Ric truly changed, or is this simply another long con wrapped in good intentions? General Hospital spoilers reveal that Sonny was caught off guard when Ric arrived at his doorstep with an offer that no one in Port Charles saw coming. Ric volunteered to represent Sonny's grandson, Rocco Falconeri, in the legal nightmare unfolding around the boy. It was a surprising move, especially considering Ric's history of manipulating vulnerable people for his own gain. Yet here he was, standing in Sonny's living room, insisting this time was different. Even more shocking was Sonny's decision to accept the offer, opening the door to a partnership that once would have been unthinkable. Ric stepped into the courtroom ready to defend his nephew with everything he had. His confidence was high, but the battle took a harsh turn when ADA Justine Turner presented damning evidence supplied by Professor Henry Dalton. The professor handed over photos of his lab allegedly destroyed by Rocco, along with a narrative that framed the teen as the aggressor. Dalton claimed he caught Rocco inside the facility and accused him of tearing it apart. Despite Ric's objections, the judge sided with the prosecution, and Rocco was ordered to serve time in a juvenile detention center. Ric's reaction was one of genuine horror. For once, the look in his eyes wasn't about losing a case. It was about losing a child to a system that made no effort to understand him. Sonny saw it too. No matter how fractured their relationship had been in the past, Ric's desire to protect Rocco was real. It wasn't about revenge, power, or manipulating the Corinthos family. It was about right and wrong. This unexpected sincerity sparked curiosity among fans, many of whom now wonder if a Sonny and Ric alliance might actually work. After all, the brothers have danced around reconciliation for years. Maybe the time has finally come for them to stand on the same side. Of course, any conversation about Ric Lansing inevitably circles back to his darkest act. Longtime viewers will never forget the chilling storyline where Ric locked Carly Corinthos in a panic room. It was one of the most disturbing plots in GH history. Ric planned to steal Carly's unborn baby and give the child to Elizabeth Baldwin as a twisted attempt at creating the family he never had. Ric was the villain through and through, driven by jealousy, resentment, and emotional wounds he refused to confront. But fate has a strange way of balancing the scales in Port Charles. Years later, Ric found himself held captive in Alexis Davis's basement, detained by Alexis, Ava Jerome, and Christina Corinthos Davis. The irony wasn't lost on fans. Ric was now in the same powerless position he once forced Carly into. Though he wasn't pregnant, and the stakes weren't identical, the humiliation and helplessness mirrored what he had put Carly through. The captivity forced Ric to reflect on who he had been, who he had hurt, and what kind of legacy he was leaving behind. For once, he was forced to feel the fear he had inflicted on others. Some believe this experience cracked something open inside him. Others argue that Ric has always been capable of remorse, but too consumed by old wounds to act on it. And those wounds run deep. Ric spent his entire life feeling like the forgotten child. His mother, Adela, left his father and took Sonny with her, leaving Ric behind with Trevor Lansing. Ric grew up believing he was unwanted, abandoned, and unworthy. When he learned that his mother fell down the stairs during an argument with Trevor while pregnant with him, the situation grew even more twisted. Trevor blamed young Sonny for the accident and insisted Sonny be put up for adoption. Although Adela refused, she eventually fled with Sonny, leaving Ric alone in a household full of resentment and control. Ric never saw his mother again. With trauma like that, it's no surprise Ric grew up conflicted. His rage at Sonny came from a place of pain, not pure malice. He hated Sonny for being chosen yet longed for his acceptance. Ric can still be selfish, impulsive, and reckless. But when you peel back the layers, his actions start to make sense in a tragic, human way. He's a man shaped by abandonment, desperately trying to prove his value while fighting demons he has never been able to tame. Now, after years of hostility, Ric claims to want peace. He has approached Sonny with sincerity, uncertain but earnest in his attempt to bridge the gap between them. Ric even extended an olive branch to Alexis for the sake of their daughter, Molly Lansing Davis. These gestures raise the possibility of a future where Ric steps into his role as a brother rather than a rival. A united Sonny and Ric would be a powerhouse alliance. Their talents, combined with their fierce protective instincts, could reshape the dynamics in Port Charles. Still, even as fans speculate about a reconciliation, doubt hangs in the air. Has Ric truly changed? Is he trying to rebuild something real? Or is this a strategic move to position himself closer to Sonny for reasons yet unknown? The question remains, should Sonny trust Ric? Should he embrace this new chapter and finally let the past rest? Or does Ric still harbor buried resentment that could erupt at any moment? As GH continues to tease more twists, the future of these estranged brothers hangs in the balance. Whether they become allies or enemies again will shape storylines for months to come. Stay tuned for more spoilers, because when it comes to Ric Lansing, trust is never simple, and nothing is ever exactly what it seems.